Hey guys, welcome to Medical Terminology on Course Hub, and here we're with lesson 1, and we're going to go over basic word roots, prefixes, and suffixes. So in my intro video, I stated that this was going to be the one lesson where we focus a lot on these, word roots, prefixes, and suffixes, and these word parts, and this is what the preconception of medical terminology is, that the course is entirely going to be about this, but I guarantee you this is the one lesson where we will focus strictly on all of this, and after it we'll be focusing more on application and integration. So just bear with me on this one video and I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Okay, so what are our learning objectives for today? So by the end of this video, you want to be able to have a firm grasp on these skills, to be able to divide medical terms into their component parts, as well as analyze, pronounce, and spell medical terms using common combining forms, suffixes, and prefixes. So what are our important word parts? What are the, let's say, building blocks of all the words that we encounter on a daily basis and in the medical workplace? The following terms will serve as the various components of any word and will help you piece together / dilute known and unknown words. So these word parts are going to make up the majority of the human vocabulary, and they can also be applied into the medical workplace, but they are mostly stressed in the medical workplace is what this course is trying to kind of direct towards you. We start off with the root, which is the essential meaning of the term. It's the word part that holds the meaning, and there could be more than one roots, and when those two roots come together, they form the actual meaning of the word. Everything else is either describing a condition of that root, or describing a past tense, or future tense, just any sort of term that is really holds the meaning of that word is considered a root. Then we move on to our suffix, which comes at the end of the word, so it's known as our word ending, and our prefix, which is a small part added to the beginning of the term. So usually prefixes are only 1 or 2 letters long. We have our combining vowel that connects roots to suffixes and roots to other roots. So these combining vowels usually come in the form of 1 letter again. So instead of saying just hema, you would, hema means blood, and it's spelled H-E-M-A. Sometimes you would see the A replaced by an O to connect better to another root or to another suffix, or gaster, which is stomach, and spelled G-A-S-T-R. You may see an O attached to the end, which is our combining vowel, and it just helps connect the root to other word parts. And then we have the combining form, the combination of the root and the combining vowel. So it's just essentially saying gaster is the root and gastro is the combining form, which means that when you add the root and the combining form, when you add the root and the combining vowel, it's considered the combining form. Let's look at some general rules that you need to follow when you're analyzing, combining, or identifying these various word parts. First, you want to read the meaning of the medical terms from the suffix back to the beginning of the term and then across. So what it's saying is you want to start from the ending of the word and move towards the prefix or towards the beginning of the word, and then you read across. Essentially, this is an easier way of saying this, is just read right to left. Next, you want to drop the combining vowel before a suffix beginning with the vowel. So in this example, we have gastroitis, which is essentially how you would say the word. But since the suffix itis begins with a vowel, you drop the combining vowel, which just brings us back to our original root, which is gaster. So instead of saying gastro, which is the combining form of that root, you would just say gaster, only because the suffix begins with a vowel. If the suffix doesn't begin with a vowel, then you would use the combining form if applicable. Next, you would keep the combining vowel word roots. So not gastroenterology, which is how you would write the word according to the last rule, gastroenterology. So when you're So what this is saying is when you're combining a root to a root, you would keep the combining vowel. So think of it like this. Root to root, you always keep the combining vowel, but when you're going from root to a suffix that begins with a vowel, you drop the vowel. That seems a little bit confusing, but you'll get it through practice. And wording it also makes it a little bit more confusing, but just keep in mind that with practice, this will fall into place and it'll become like an instinct to you. Okay, word division. So let's look at this example. We have electrocardiogram, and this means recording of the electricity in the heart. And remember, we want to read from suffix to the beginning of the word, but let's not focus on meaning just yet. Let's just break down the various word parts. Just go from traditional right to left. Starting with electro, which means electricity, and that's our root because it holds the meaning of that word. It holds a key part in identifying this word's meaning. Electro is electricity. And the O is our combining vowel. Like I said, electro and electure are the same thing, except electro is the combining form of that root. Cardi is another root, and it means heart. So once again, like I said earlier, you can have two words and combine them to create a greater meaning. Not a greater, but alteration of the meaning. So instead of just saying heart or electricity, you're combining the two. And that gives you the electricity in the heart. And then you have another combining vowel, and since our suffix doesn't start with a vowel, you can keep that combining form, cardio. And that sounds better. As you can see, instead of saying cardiogram, you would say cardiogram. But if you had a suffix that had a vowel, so itis, instead of saying cardioitis, you would say carditis. Okay, and then finally gram, which is our suffix. It's the last word part in our term, and like I said, the suffix always comes at the end of the term. So gram is our suffix. And finally, when you read that left to right, as our first rule says, read left to right, read from suffix to the beginning of the term, you get recording of the heart, recording of the electricity in the heart. And like I said, it gives you a general idea, but it's not always perfect. So you want to read from left to right, but always remember to, fix or rearrange any words that don't make sense in your mind. So obviously, recording of the heart in electricity won't make sense, but recording of the electricity in the heart does. So you just have to rearrange some stuff. But for the most part, it makes sense and it's logical, and it's the best way to go about. Okay, let's look at more meaning-related things now. So in our example, subgastric, it means pertaining to under the stomach. So let's add in the meaning this time to see the order of reasoning. We can start left to right this time. So sub, which is our prefix, and it means under. Gaster is root and it's stomach. Ik is our suffix, and it means pertaining to. So when we read that from right to left now, which is our suffix to the beginning of the term, we see pertaining to the stomach under. But like I said, you want to rearrange some stuff. So instead of saying pertaining to the stomach under, you would rearrange the first two terms, giving you pertaining to under the stomach. And that means that if you're talking about the subgastric region of of an area, then you would say the region pertaining to under the stomach. So the wound is located in the subgastric region is what a medical professional might state to you. And that just gives you an example of how the term may be used. All right, so that was a lot. The wording may not have been the best, but like I said, if you have any questions that you have or they're lingering in your mind, don't hesitate to ask. Always remember that I'm here for you. The community is here for you, and if you see someone in the comments and you have a good answer to their question, be sure to help them out as they would likely do for you. And just be cautious that not everything will come to you in an instant. If you have to rewatch something, if you have to do any practice questions, or go over a Quizlet to help guide you through these things, don't worry, take your time. This course is for you. Remember, learn with a passion. Stay safe, everyone. Bye-bye.